Aboard, on board, or on the ship. The opposite of ashore is when referring or being or doing something on the ship. About, to turn the ship around. Abreast, alongside something, usually another ship or a dock. Add on, an additional charge to cruise fare that usually refers to airfare, transportation, or a land tours. All hands, all the crew members working aboard the ship. Alternative restaurant, a smaller onboard restaurant where guests can choose to eat, often for a small fee. A midship, the middle section of the ship. Ashore, on land, the opposite of aboard. Astern towards the AFT back of the ship or behind the ship. Beam, the weight of the ship at its widest point, usually right across the middle section of the ship. Bearing, the compass direction of the ship is sailing expressed in degree. Berth, a bed or the place where the ship is docked and parked. Bow, the front part of the ship. Bridge, the location where the captain and crew controls the ship or in navigation and steering gear. Bulkhead, the structural wall in the interior of the ship. Way, the marker or float used in identify navigational landmarks or channels. A cabin or a passenger room on board the ship, sometimes called a stateroom. Cabin steward, the person who cleans the cabin cast off, release the ship from her mooring. Channel, the deepest part of the river or harbor. Companionway, a stairway inside of the ship that connects the deep levels. Course, the ship routes from one point to the next. Cruise director is the end of the ship entertainment staff, often MC's event.
Hello everyone, I'm Margaret Espiritu from TM5B. So today, I will discuss the DEF from Terminologies. First is davit. Davit is a metal crane on a ship used to lower lifeboats. Next is deck. Deck is the floor or level of the ship. Next is disembark, is to leave the ship. Next is dinner seating, is the specific time you're assigned to eat dinner on the ship. Next is dock, is the place where a ship is tied up or parked. And last is draft, is how deep the ship sits in the water, from the water surface down to the bottom of the ship. And now, I will discuss the letter E. Letter E stands for embark. Embark is to get on the ship. And last, I will discuss the letter F. First is fantail. Fantail is the back part of the ship that stick out. Next is fathom. Fathom is a way to measure water depth. Next is first sitting. The earlier dinner time in the main dining room. Next is fleet. It's a group of ships owned by the same company. Next is flow rider. It's a surf simulator pool on a Royal Caribbean ship. Next is forward. It's the front area of the ships. And next, freestyle cruising is a Norwegian cruise line's relaxed cruising style with no fixed dining times or dress codes. And next, fun ships. Fun ships is a Carnival Cruise Line's nickname for their ships. And lastly is funnel. Funnel is the smokestack of the ships where smoke comes out.
So first is galley, the ship's kitchen. Next is gangway, means ramp or stairway between the ship and the shore while the ship is docked. So next is gross registered ton or JRT, a measurement of enclosed passenger space including the space in cabins, luggages, showrooms, and dining rooms. This does not apply to open spaces such as decks and pool areas. But of course, they are enclosed. And next is guarantee, means a cruise reservation in which one pays for a certain category cabin, but is not a given cabin number. Passengers often take this type of reservation with the hopes of getting upgraded to a higher category. So, hand is a crew member or might refer to a crew member or staff member who assists with. Next is head or a bathroom is a nautical term for a bathroom or a restroom on a ship. Next is helm, the ship's steering equipment located in the bridge. Next is hold, the ship's cargo area. Next is hotel manager or a shipboard director of hotel operations such as housekeeping and passenger services. Next is hull, the outside shell of the ship from the main deck down to the neel. So last is the inside cabin or a stateroom that does not have a porthole, window, or balcony.
The keel of a ship is a backbone, a central, longitudinal structure member that runs along the bottom of the hull from stem to stern. A knot can refer to two things, a unit of speed and a type of knot. A knot is a unit of speed equal to 1 nautical mile per hour, commonly used to maritime and air navigation.
Other terminologies include latitude, the distance north or south of the equator, expressed in degrees. League, a unit of measurement equal to 3.45 nautical miles. Leeward, the side of an island or ship that is sheltered from the wind. Lines, the rope used to tie up the ship while it is in the dock. Longitude, the distance east or west of the prime meridian expressed in degrees. Maiden voyage, the first voyage of the new ship. Maiden call, the first part of the call on the ship maiden voyage. Master, the person who is in charge of the ship, the captain. Mini suite, the smallest, most affordable suite on a ship, often with just a curtain dividing the living and the sleeping areas. Moor, to hold the ship in place with lines at the berth. Master, to assemble the passenger and crew. Muster station, a meeting place on board the ship that usually refers to the area where one will go to get into the lifeboat in case of an emergency. Nautical mile, a unit of measurement equal to 1/68 of a degree of the Earth's circumference. It is measured in the US as 6,080.2 feet or internationally as 6,076.1 feet.
Ocean view cabin, an outside cabin with a large porthole window or a veranda. On board, located on the ship, carried or used on the vessel. Open setting, a dinner sitting in which tables are not assigned. Outside cabin, a stateroom with a porthole, window, or balcony that overlooks the oceans. Also referred to as ocean view cabin. Passageway, a hallway inside the ship. Pitch, the forward and backward rise and fall as the ship as it moves. Port, the left side of the ship when facing forward, also the harbor where a ship docks. Porthole, a round window on a ship. Port of call, a port at which the ship anchors or moors and the passengers are allowed to disembark. Promenade, an open deck that encircles a ship often used for walking or jogging. Purser, the officer on board who serve as a financial or administrative management for guest services.
The Quad A class is a large container ship known for its high capacity and speed. It can carry 6,100 containers, make it one of the most profitable vessels in the game. It has a speed of 22 knots and 26.3 knots with a game pass. Rolling of a ship refers to its side-to-side tittling motion rotating around its longitudinal axis. This motion is a natural response to forces like waves and wind.
Screw, the ship's propeller. Single supplement, an extra charge solo traveler space to have just one person in a cabin. Sister ships, ships built at the same design, sometimes referred to as ship owned and operated by the same cruise line. Shore excursion, A tour or guided activity in which guests participate. Stabilizer, a retractable arm located below the waterline midship which can be extended to help reduce the ship's roll in route sea conditions. Starboard, the right side of the ship when facing forward. Stateroom, a cabin. Stern, the back end of the ship. Suite, the largest class of stateroom, features separate living and sleeping areas.
For letter T terminology, first is tender, a small boat used to transport passengers from the ship to the shore. Tenders are used when the harbor is not deep enough for the ship to dock. Next is transfer, transportation from the airport or hotel to the ship and vice versa. Next is triple, a cabin that will accommodate 3 passengers. For letter U, first is underway, the act of sailing. Next is upgrade, a change in cabin assignment to a better category. And the last one is upper berth, a bed similar to bunk bed, a folded or recessed into the wall. For letter V is veranda, a private outdoor space, typically a balcony and attached to a cabin. For letter W, first is wake, a track in the left water at the stern created by a moving ship. Second is windward, the side of the ship against which is the wind is blowing. And the last one is world cruise, a 3 to 4 month long cruise that sails around the world. Guests can choose the cruise the entire time or just select a one-way segment.